Hey collective, of what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here with me always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at the energy of our health, well-being, our vitality via the tarot, astrology, any channeled messages that come through, and a little bit of Ayurveda. One of the oldest forms of holistic medicine, which is amazing. It's super fabulous. I highly recommend you check it out if you are not familiar. It precedes transcendental meditation, which, you know, we're pretty familiar with acupuncture and opening up our chi, so to speak. In Ayurveda, it's prana, it's life force energy. And these readings are meant to kind of connect us with those parts of ourselves that might be disconnected, right? Ayurveda looks at health and well-being. The root cause of disease is when we disconnect from self. And that can be mentally, emotionally, physically, which I'm sure we've all gone through times where we can see that happening in our life and how it takes a toll on our mind-body system. So we'll look at like current energies, what's going on currently, but we'll also kind of just tie it into some health and wellness messages as well. Recognize that, or just to be informed, all this is informational for entertainment purposes only. Always consult a doctor, a physician, making sure that you're really getting the knowledge and awareness that you need for your own specific situation. Because these are general readings, and even though I do have a master's in Ayurvedic medicine, it's not necessarily something, well, where I live, it's not a health freedom state. So we have to approach it more as educational, which, you know, nothing is weird. It's not like you have to do some like weird self-care routine and then, you're gonna like end up in the hospital or something along those lines. I don't know why I'm getting into this tangent, but I guess I am this morning. So it's an interesting morning. Life has been kind of busy. We just had a new moon in Pisces this week. The sun also moved into Aries, so we're officially in Aries season. We had the spring equinox, Ostaria, if you're familiar, just that value of transitioning into the springtime, rebirth, renewal, etc. And we're in Aries season, which is fire energy, and so it definitely kind of like amps up the pace of things. I think this is something we've been waiting for, right? Because there's been a lot of stagnancy. We've had various planets in retrograde, and right now everything is direct, thankfully. So it's not going to be as much of a focus on past or old things, I should say. Like usually retrogrades force us to stop, to think, to slow down, etc., and really evaluate what's going on in whatever situation you're dealing with. But when we don't have retrogrades, it's a little bit more of a free-flowing energy. And being in Aries season, it is about investment in self. Aries rules the first house, which is the house of self. It's tapping into your creativity, even like your root chakra is what I'm hearing. And that message has been coming up for us a lot at the channel. What it means to actually like ground and stabilize into your being, i.e. connect with self. Making sure that it's not fair weather, right? That it's not just something you're doing for a hot minute, but that you're actually connected with who you are and what you want. And there's a myriad of ways to ground yourself. It's getting warmer out. Well, where I'm located, I understand not everyone lives where I live. Please know that. But going outside, what my point was, you can go outside, you can walk barefoot in the grass. I love that feeling. I can't wait for it. I'm so excited for spring, summer to arrive. But it's a really good way to ground if you want to do it through food. Anything that grows underneath the earth is going to have those grounding properties. So sweet potatoes, carrots, any type of potato, really, any type of root vegetable, right? Rutabaga, etc. There's a myriad of things, right? And I think a lot of this stuff is about setting intention, because your body is going to tell you what it wants and what it needs. And we'll look at how this all plays out in the reading for sure. But topically, what I'm seeing is the energy is picking up, and there is this need to kind of make sure that you're remaining balanced and stable in the process. Yes, it's exciting. Yes, I think that there's a lot of opportunities on the horizon that you are ready to dive into. At the same time, we don't want to lose our footing. We don't want to lose the grounding, the foundation that we've already set. So I like to start off my readings with an energy cleansing, just to set the tone, set the vibe, cleanse out any blocked energy, places we're finding limitation, etc. I'm using a sage smudge bundle, which is really good for purification and then helping us connect with our spiritual center, those higher chakras. It's also a really good time to set your intention, right? Like if you have a situation that you've come in with that's on your mind, something that you want spirit to give you messages around, definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It's a great time to do it, especially on these live readings. We don't have to be live because really, like, spirit, universe, God, however you understand, is always looking to communicate, is always looking to speak with us. And really, it is as simple as asking, asking our question, and then being open to what that answer is, understanding that that answer can come through many different channels. I also provide a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you're looking for that rebalancing of self, your mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Because when we are aligned in self, that's really where we're hitting our stride. It's where we're happy, we're fulfilled, we're connecting with our abundance, whatever. Hey, whoop, whoop. What's going on, Karen? Welcome in this morning. Thank you so much. You're so sweet and kind. I know it's very early for you, but welcome in. I hope you're well today. So yeah, like I was just basically doing my little spiel. When we're aligned in self, that's like where we connect with our happiness, our abundance, our fulfillment. And there's a lot of things, I've been observing this lately, there's just a lot of things that do work against us, and not good, bad, right or wrong. It's the nature of life. It's how things have been orchestrated. But at the same time, it's within our power to transition. It's within our power to not necessarily, fall prey to some of the untruths or the misalignment or the things that ask us to disconnect from self. We can actually re-empower ourselves. Our body, mind, soul is amazing. It's incredibly intelligent, and it's always working for harmony, balance for you. And I think those are some really powerful things that we often forget, in the day-to-day, because the grunt and grind can be a little bit brutal, right? But all that to say, I would definitely love to help support you in whatever way possible. Reach out if you're interested. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. I will also hopefully have my website up within the next week or so. So stay tuned. Thank you for your patience always. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love, Mama Love. Little extra love never hurts. We all need it. I feel like, and maybe it's coming through that. Well, I always say that. I think we all need a little love, right? There's also just this value. What I'm picking up is like a need to nurture yourself. I was hearing topically slow down. I think that's like a message I feel like I've been saying constantly. So I apologize. Don't hate me. It's not intentional. It's more about like taking your time through the process is what I'm hearing. And I feel like that nourishment, that support is so important for you, especially if you're like the only person or you don't have a lot of supportive people, individuals in your environment, because that energy can be few and far between, right? Like when we have to give to ourselves, when we're kind of going at our path alone, it makes us very self-reliant. And that's why it's incredibly important to make sure that we're not having the negativity or the things of the past bring us down, weigh down our energy. It's like, you're already trying to push against that is what I'm hearing. And as I'm saying this, what pops out is the butterfly. It's transformation, joy, beauty, transience. So it really does talk about how you are overcoming some things that I think it is like really a reworking of self. I feel like if you were to look back at yourself even a few weeks ago, this came up before a previous reading. Sorry, I'm being reminded. But if you were to think about like where you were at, what you thought, how you felt a couple weeks ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, etc., you're doing so much change. I'm hearing it's just like you're hitting leaps and bounds. Everything is a progression. It's like a level up. Everything is continually progressing forward and you're getting stronger and more self-assured as the days continue on. And I think that energy can be really tantalizing, especially as we enter fire season, where it's all about like, okay, let's make this happen. If you have any friends who are a fire sign, it is just really funny watching the push, like whatever it is, let's go. Come on. It's always just like ready to be up and running. And I think that's important. I think we need that because we've had a lot of stagnancy, but we also need to make sure that we're taking time, right? I like that the altar is in our overarching energy this week because it reminds us to have gratitude. It reminds us to release burdens. I don't know if altars are your thing, but it's essentially setting up a sacred space in your home, you can put a myriad of different things on your altar to honor yourself, honor your life, honor where you've come from, whomever, whatever that looks like. You don't necessarily have to honor ancestors if your, past is a little dicey. At the same, not you specifically, but just like where you come from is like maybe a better way to say it, or maybe something that I'm picking up, right? Because this feels a lot like honor and sacrament to you. This feels like as you transition, as you transform, as you're setting the stage for yourself, this symbolizes honoring yourself, honoring where you've come from, honoring where you're at, and honoring where you're headed. And that takes time. It takes intention. It takes, a little bit of thought. And when we're in these fire seasons where it's all about go, do, make happen, keep up with the pace, keep up with the Joneses is what I'm hearing. it can feel a little difficult to try and balance that force, to try to stay grounded and stable. And it's interesting, as I was saying that, I was seeing like a fire, and fire is, or like earth energy is the only thing that can actually like stabilize fire, right? It's something that keeps fire from going wild, essentially. And that's kind of what I'm hearing. And maybe that's not your vibe. Maybe you are just, like, I'm hearing excited and hopeful, but I think the ultimate message is like making sure to not get too distracted with what you're doing right now, because essentially this sage is saying what you are doing is working. It's wisdom, purification, harmony. I love that about sage. That's why I do the cleansings at the beginning of the reading, because it's just such a good practice to come back to self, to, you know, release the burdens, exactly like this altar card says, to spend time really like actively setting intention towards detoxification, to removing things that end up becoming burdens or stressors along the way. And that's what you're actively doing. That's what's showing up. Or like you're trying to, like, I feel like as you're trying to get to wherever you're going, yes, it's in efforts to release past patterns, people, behaviors, etc. But at the same time, it's also about cleansing, right? It's also about being able to, it's not just a bypass. I hope I'm not making it more complicated than what it needs, but I'm hearing it's like, don't just like skeet over, making sure that there is a level of thoroughness, that there is a level of intention. Because I think sometimes, especially when we are switching the script about our life, when there's a lot of transformation, when there's a lot of things happening, it's easy to want to like skeet over the bad or the messiness, or I don't really want to deal with that, so I'm not going to look at it or whatever. But really what ends up happening, and Ayurveda acknowledges this, is that unprocessed whatever, thought, memory, pattern, interaction, it gets lodged and stored within our being. And that's where it becomes detrimental to us. So participating a little bit more, being active in your cleansing procedures, whatever that looks like for you this week. And I'm not talking about a detox or a cleanse. Maybe that's appropriate for you if you've been thinking of that or whatever, you know, looking into it, etc. It's a great idea. Ayurveda does talk about cleansing during the seasonal transitions, so we can release excess energy, vata, excess dosha, essentially, which is the energy within our being. I'm trying to explain it in a simplified way. And again, it may be appropriate for you, it might not. And I think the intelligence is just knowing if it is, right? And there's other ways to do it. I'm not trying to get stuck on, you know, doing some type of detox or cleansing, etc. There's a lot of different things you can do. And Ayurveda, what I love about Ayurveda is their approach to detox. It's called a Purusha karma, is actually incredibly nourishing, right? When we think about cleansing, we think about restriction, and Ayurveda actually adds components that help not only nourish the body, but permeate the deepest cell layer so it can remove the toxins. So you're getting the best of both worlds. And that's kind of what I'm getting at ultimately, is that yes, honoring the new path that you're setting before yourself. And I think that that's part of what this altar is about, but then making sure you're cleansing at the same time, finding that balance. And even if it is just like in your mental world, I was hearing like, it's taking note when certain thoughts come up, certain things that you think, a road comes up that you don't want to go down. You know, it's having those things, those little sayings for yourself that you can be like, you know, that happened. It was sad. I'm glad that I've moved on, or I'm glad that I've healed from it. It's essentially just being your own best friend so that you're not going down that path. But I think as I'm seeing this energy, it is talking about like more intention or being more intentional about that aspect. I think that you have been really focused on your stability and simplifying things, and it's working to your benefit. It came out in our reading yesterday, maybe a little bit too much. Like you could benefit from some activity. You could benefit from bringing something in, because it's almost like, and I see this a lot in the health and wellness industry, right? Like certain goals that we have to achieve about our wellness. And the thing is, there's always something else you can do, right? Like, and again, why I love Ayurveda, because it's talking about the happy medium. It's saying, recognize where you're at. You know, don't set these crazy, fanatical, lofty goals for yourself and then try to go from like here to there. It just is not realistic, point blank. You might be able to do it for a hot minute, but it always putters out, right? It's finding that balance. It's saying like, hey, if I can implement this one thing for 2 weeks consistently, then I'm going to add another thing to my routine. And that actually is more of that snowball domino effect. And it's almost like, I don't know if you're just overly criticizing yourself, or there's this constant need and push for things to constantly be stable. And I get it. 100%. There's also that value that like things are always changing. Things are always evolving. And we can't, perfection, I should say, is not realistic. It's not even not realistic. It doesn't exist. That's what I want to say. Whatever our idea of perfection is or becomes, it's actually just a distraction. And so there might be a little bit of this energy of like continuing to fixate and focus on things that are already like pretty good or like kind of healed, or maybe you don't have to fixate so heavily on that. Trusting yourself. I think this is about setting boundaries for yourself as well. We're getting salt in the energy that you need to kind of engage in, right? Like the energy that you need to reveal within yourself. And I'm hearing it's like you are protected, but then you're also not indulging in the negativity. And again, this can be on any level. Even if you are dealing with a physical ailment. I talked about this the other day. When we're in restriction, it constricts the blood vessels. So essentially, like it doesn't allow things to flow harmoniously in our physiology. Whether that's stress, whether that's anger, whether that's frustration, and you can even feel it. If you tune into your body and you're in a situation that's like provoking some feelings, you can definitely pick up how that can feel so restricted and limiting. And I feel like sometimes that's part of the frustration that we're fighting against is that restriction. And I'm hearing that like whatever you are ingesting, whether it's into your being, whether it's your mental, emotional, what you think about yourself, what you're listening to, what you're hearing other people say, however that fares for you, it is about getting rid of the negativity. So I'm seeing this as like you've done this work on yourself to this point, and now it's refining on a deeper level. Setting the intention, paying attention to what you need to be, right? Like honoring each step of the process. And I know that's a little bit ambiguous, but it's like just being present, being available to understand what's happening, not only within yourself, but outside of yourself is what I should say. Because there might be some things that you have been investing in that feel a little bit like it's like self-criticism, or it's counterintuitive to what your ultimate goals are, is what I'm hearing. Carnelian, I love this. And I think this is actually so beautiful, so powerful for this reading today. Carnelian is a really cool stone. It is all about our empowerment. It actually does connect to the root and the sacral chakra, which is it essentially translates to our stability. It's how we feel grounded in self, and then how we're able to take that creative power that we all have and actually translate it into your life, right? Into your daily living. And carnelian is a stone that really helps us do that. You could go out, purchase some carnelian if you're interested in meditating with crystals, or, you know, there's a lot of different ways to utilize crystals. It's a great crystal to use, especially if you are working on your empowerment. I like that they have it around some tea candles. You could do a little ritual, a little ceremony to kind of set your intention. In this card, it symbolizes energy, leadership, and creativity. And that's essentially what you're tapping into. But I feel like it's not just having energy. It's sustainable energy. It's things that are going to be long lasting. It's things that are actually going to not be, you know, like are going to be sustainable, essentially, so that you're not flailing about. And again, I'm seeing this as like, that's exactly what you're trying to cultivate in your world. You already have it though. Like, that's what it looks like. Like, again, and this has been coming up a lot for us lately in our readings. You're better off, better situated than maybe even what you know. But makes a lot of sense. We have the moon, Datura, which is, you know, beautiful, enticing, but can be very toxic. And that reminds me of a lot of the places that we do need to banish this negativity, whatever that looks like for you. I like that, okay? But see, again, this is confirming 6 of Pentacles, your balance. This is all about balance. This is all about reciprocity. In this deck, it's symbolized through pine, which is a incredibly like sturdy. I love, I love like that tree energy for when we're trying to kind of connect with grounding and stability. Because you can do, like, there's tree meditations where you can actually envision yourself like rooting down into the earth. Things that make you feel a little bit more stable, because I don't see you acknowledging this. Like, it feels a lot like your energy is like, I still have more to do. I still have more to do. And I don't know if this is just the people, the situations that you're dealing with around you, or because within your own self, even if you are dealing with a physical ailment, it's like within your own self, I feel like you're doing exactly what you need to be doing. But someone is making you think otherwise. And I'm not 100% certain as to why you're buying into this. Because again, like, maybe you're just being a little bit too nice. Like, maybe you're giving someone something, the benefit of the doubt, or more of your time and attention than what you should be. And that's where that readjustment happens. Anytime we need to purify with salt, it reminds me of even just the small things that we let into whatever that sacred space is for you, whether that's your home, whether that's your room, whether that's your bed. You know, sometimes we live with people, have to interact with people that make it hard to release negativity or have that sacred space. Hydra of Earth. So feeling a little bit confined, like it's almost like I was hearing with this is like you have to play the part. You almost have to like pay allegiance to someone. I don't know if they're asking for that, but like the way that the energy comes through is like you should. I don't know. Someone's having a lot of, or someone or something, it's having a lot of expectations for what you should be doing. And I'm seeing you fall into that a little bit this week, even though, because it's something that is keeping you limited. It's something that does have maybe some type of foothold over, this could be monetary, you know, it doesn't have to be money, but it does feel like they have control over something, or they are a part of something that you share control with. And it really limits your ability for whatever reason. It limits your ability to feel, I don't know. It looks to me like it's someone who's trying to keep you stuck, but it's all an illusion, right? It feels like that Eight of Swords energy where it's either playing on your mental, on your emotional. And again, it doesn't have to be a person. It can just be things that you think or things that you've picked up along the way in your life to believe about yourself, etc. And, you know, I think it's maybe you're just following suit with the energy because it's either you're trying to appease someone or something, or like keeping things balanced in a way that you think is going to be best, right? Like not letting go of something even if you know it might not be good for you. Because, you know, and I think there is a way to do that, especially if you're dealing with something that's more physical, like, you know, whatever, your health and wellness routine, how you're eating, what you're ingesting, we'll keep it at that. It's like, it's something that you know that you should, and maybe your physiology is a little bit accustomed to it. And that's where Ayurveda really talks about like being gentle, like slowly. If you're going to bed at midnight, might not be the best thing. In Ayurveda's world, between 10 and 11. So instead of trying to go to bed at like 9:30, 10 on your first night, maybe you try 11:30, and then the next night it's 11, and then the next night it's 10:30. That's the thing, like that gradual releasing of something. And that's what I see you doing, or I feel you doing, but it's also keeping your energy stuck in something that, like, again, is part of the perpetual lies. It's part of the disbelief in self. And you do actually have an opportunity to empower yourself. This is something that, like, Spirit is asking you to do. Like, sometimes we just have to bite the bullet, right? Yes, I think that living a healthy, balanced life, it's not popular, but we really feel our best when we do, right? So in an ideal world, we can understand that. And if we've gone through a time where we've been in extremes, or, you know, we're dealing with an illness, a severe illness, where like maybe we can't eat certain things or do certain things, then just do that, right? Ascribe to that. Actually, like, follow the protocols, honor your body for a few months, do what you got to do, and then, you know, you can go have fun again type thing. That's kind of how I'm picking this up. I think there's some closure coming in, and I feel like in some ways that's part of why it's hanging in the background. I feel like you're working through that this week, or that's what I see. I do see that you're putting in a lot of honest attempts, honest integrity. You're kind of continually coming back to the drawing board. You're giving options where you can. Some people don't want to take that someone something as you're moving forward. I think there are some things that you are continuing to clear out. And like I said, the gradual method, I think, is the best for you, because it feels, again, like you might be just getting caught. Well, I just think it's like more beneficial overall is what I'll say. And even as the energy of the cards are playing out, that's how the progression goes. It's not like you should have cut this off yesterday. It's like you probably should be mindful of this moving forward, take note of it, and then make sure it doesn't necessarily, get out of control. I don't think it's going to, because I see a lot of structure within your energy. Like you are doing what you need to do. And yes, there might be those bits and pieces like I was just talking about that you're letting in, or you're giving the benefit of the doubt or whatever. And it's not bad. It's okay. I think we have to listen to what our body needs, right? Listen to what our mind, body, soul need. Things, I don't know, sorry, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with it. I do know where I'm going with this, but I don't have any more words. And I just need to add a period, right? I just need to add a period. All right, let's close this out. Tune in. I love it. Today, before doing what I normally do, I will take a moment to slow down, to place my hands on my heart space and take a few deep breaths. I will ask myself what I truly want, and I will honor however I'm feeling. And I think that goes back to the very beginning, the need to just slow down a little bit, take your time. I feel like today we're seeing this even astrologically, like there's been a lot of energy moving into Aries season. So it is okay to slow down. It is okay to take those times, those days of rest. Or maybe you're feeling really active, or I should say when you are feeling active, that's the great time. That's the best time to tap into this carnelian energy, right? To really empower yourself through what you're cultivating. Setting some goals for yourself is what I'm seeing. And then as certain things come in, making sure that you're continuing to cleanse them out, right? I don't want to go down that road. I just protect yourself, whether it's from the own thoughts you think or the people around you, Try to have a few phrases in your pocket that you can say that will make you feel, protected, safe. Like you can set your boundaries, and it doesn't have to be like a big fight or a huge ordeal. You can actually just say, hey, it doesn't work for me, or I don't want to talk about it, or let's reconnect when we're both feeling more balanced, things that will actually honor everyone involved, even if something is kind of going after their own success, their own victories. Putting yourself out there, new adventures. We've been getting this message a lot, and I think it's really in alignment with Aries season, moving into a quicker pace energy. Today, I open myself up to new adventures. I go out and do something I've been holding back from. I move through the fear rather than let it control me. I trust my intuition and follow my desires. I'm hearing you just need to give yourself some more credit. Like, just give yourself more credit. I think you've done a lot of really good, solid things for yourself, and you might even kind of just be teetering on that edge of like, it's a little too much, or, like, not fanatical, but I'm just seeing you like, yeah, let's do this. And you've got all this stuff in place, but then there's still this part of you that's feeling like you're not measuring up or whatever. And it's not true. It's not true. And that's when we have to, yes, tune in, take care of ourselves in those moments, honor our heart, honor our mind, our soul, but don't let it stagnate us, right? Like, life is not perfect. And a lot of times you hear this even in the creative world with art, we find perfection in the messiness, in the chaos, right? And because it's really beautiful to see what we can cultivate out of it. And that's a little hard for me to say. went through some stuff that was really hard, right? Really hard. And maybe in our mentality, we find different ways. Oh, I wish I would have done this, or I could have done this, or whatever, you know. But it's not necessarily about that. It's not about the shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's about how are you working with this energy presently. And we're seeing that with Uranus and Taurus. It's actually going to finally be moving into Gemini. So we'll get a little bit of a release where like you've done enough work, you've done enough scrutinizing on the things that are in the present time, and you can actually kind of diversify and move forward a little bit more fluidly. Up and coming. And that's kind of what I'm seeing a lot. I think it's a consistent pattern lately. This time is about like just building your forces. Yes, like adding in some things that are honoring, beneficial for you, but then also making sure you're not pushing yourself too hard. I love this. Infinite creativity. This is I love this thought, this concept. When we're feeling overwhelmed or defeated, or we can't have, or when we're feeling any sort of limitation, it's remembering that there is infinite creativity. There is infinite possibility. And a lot of times, all we have to do is take some minutes, do a little deep breathing, pranayamic breathing, alternate nostril breathing. You can do a little meditation. I love meditating with a mantra, transcendental meditation, because it brings you into that place. It transcends you into that place of infinite creativity. And again, any inventor across time, I know that's like a funny statement, but like anybody who's done anything big in their life, who's like overcome insurmountable odds or achieve big things, they talk about, there's a lot of different places throughout history that they talk about tapping into that transcendence. There is a book called Supreme Awakening, I believe, by Craig Peterson. Sorry if I'm butchering his name, but it's a really cool book when it talks about like our consciousness and how that translates to being inspired, creating, you don't even have to do anything giant and, whatever, like life-changing. It's about what is for you, right? And I guess, sorry, I'm getting a little tripped up, but what I'm hearing is there's so many different possibilities. It doesn't have to just be that one thing or that one or two or three things. Like there's more, right? There's so much more. And if anything, we tap into such a small percentage of it, right, in our day-to-day living. And I'm saying this because I think some of the stability, like, yes, I think it's been important for you to cultivate your stability and have a solid foundation, but now it's time to play a little bit more with that energy. Now it's time to see what you can actually create and surprise yourself a little bit is what I'm hearing. At any moment, I am able to tap into an infinite source of energy and creativity within me. Unique ideas flow through, each one capable of blossoming into beautiful creations. And I think that's just, like I said, anytime I know I'm feeling limited or stuck or I can't get out of this or like, the world's imploding, it's remembering that there is kind of like a checks and balances system in the universe, right? It's the ebb and the flow. It's the masculine. It's the feminine. Yes, it is all unified underneath the surface, but as we get to more of the physical layers, it fractures, it breaks, it separates. And that's why there is intensity and diversity, which challenges us to grow. It challenges us to evolve. And you're doing that, right? Like, I think if anything, this has been a really positive reading just in terms of like what you have set up for yourself, where you're at, where you're continuing to go. And I feel like you're just amplifying this strength that you're really building within self. And something that I think is not only necessary, I think it's something that maybe you haven't seen in a while. So it feels really good too, but it can also feel scary. And that's where some of that hesitancy comes in of, am I ready? Like, am I ready? Can I actually have this? Can I actually do this? Can I actually honor myself? You know, can I actually be healthy and well and thrive? And I'm a huge believer that we can have all those things. It does, unfortunately, take some effort on our end. You're so sweet. Thank you. I love it. I hope it does, just empower your day. That's something I also love about Ayurveda. Karen, sorry, I saw the message. It's like taking every facet of our day and like imbibing it with positive energy, which we need. Like, I don't know, this is my own opinion, but life is really sad. Like, there's just a lot of sad things that happen. It's too bad, really, because I think there's so much beauty and expansion and potential at the same time. But that goes back into what we were just talking about. It's where we want to plug in our energy. Yeah, we can look at how sad things are, but we can also look at like what the potential is. And that's where we tap into our infinite creativity and all these things, just like you were saying, Karen, it's like, it gives us that pep in our step to like go out, empower ourselves, seize the day, be the best version of ourselves, and even if life chips away at us throughout the day and we come home and we feel depressed and depleted, hopefully not. But if we do, that's where rest can be restoration. One of my favorite things, I'll give you like a little Ayurvedic tidbit, is putting ghee on your feet before bed. You can wear them with little comfy, cozy socks. And it's so restorative to the physiology. I mean, it induces like phenomenal sleep. It's the most restful, peaceful sleep you'll ever receive. And then it's also helping like bring out all those toxins from the body, which it's just an added layer of detoxification, of cleansing out the BS, right? Whether it's mental, emotional, the people, our environment that are around us, whatever we're picking up, whatever we're accruing throughout the day, sleep is meant to wash all that away. And like putting ghee on the soles of your feet is like amazing. I highly recommend. And there shouldn't be any contraindications with it. If you are a little bit nervous, you can totally check with your doctor. Yes. Always honor yourself, honor your mind, your body, your soul, especially this week. You're doing an amazing job. I'm like so proud of you. My heart just like grew 3 times because it's really beautiful to just see the progress, to see how far you've come. And in the face of things that haven't been very easy, I don't think, like in your outside energy, it's saying that it hasn't, or people, situations really haven't been giving you the benefit of the doubt. They haven't been giving the hall pass. If anything, it's like you're dealing with their mess and their emotions. And it's just like, and I see you finding more balance within that. I see you honoring yourself a lot more within that, taking care of yourself. What you're doing is working. Continue to do it. Continue to press forward. Really like feel the nurture, the support that you're giving to your body. Because I think sometimes when we're adjusting our health, our wellness, it's easy to do it for a hot minute and then stop. And so I would just encourage you, like when you're doing something good for yourself, like tune in, take that second to really kind of like tune into your body. How does it make you feel? Acknowledge the nurture, the support, the well-being that you're bringing to yourself. And those little things, as seemingly small as they are, they're like very, very powerful. And Ayurveda is all about using any tool it can as positive reinforcement for health, well-being. So I hope this helps. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Karen, thank you so much for showing up. I super appreciate you always. Definitely drop comments below if you're interested in connecting. I love to connect with our community. I think it's such a great inspiration for everybody. You know, collective energy is a beautiful thing, and we all learn, we all grow from everybody's experiences. So definitely drop comments below. Let's connect. Definitely reach out if you're interested in any of the services. I hope you will have a fabulous week of health, of well-being. Really honor yourself, empower yourself, tap into that Aries energy, but don't overdo it. All right. Thank you so much. All the love, all the blessings your way. Have a happy Saturday. Thank you for tuning in.